So another movie that I watched that caught me off guard completely, that I absolutely fell in love with this movie, and that was Hell House LLC. Have
Yeah.
you seen it?
Oh yes.
So I knew absolutely nothing about it. Decided to check it out, and holy shit, that has some of the most creepiest imagery I have seen in a long time. We're talking, I couldn't sleep very well at night. I had trouble fucking sleeping because of what I saw in a movie. How often does that happen to horror
I,
fans?
yeah, never.
Like I put that up there with the Blair Witch Project because the Blair Witch Project is one of my favorite found footage movies. I still find that movie creepy to this day. I
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you. I I put that up there as one of the best found footage movies. Hellhouse LLC. It's creepy. It's well made, and it feels like a real documentary style movie.
Yeah, no, here's what I watched, turned it on to like fall asleep to it. I just was browsing through Netflix one day. I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not, but this has been years ago, like back when it first came out, they put it on Netflix. I was looking around, I had no idea anything about it. No one was talking about it at the time, hardly. It had just came out like 2 days before. And I was like, what I'll do is I'll just flip it on and I'll just fall asleep to it. And I turn it on and I just start watching because the thing set up, it's weird because it's not really a mockumentary or documentary. It's not really found footage either. It kind of mixes these tapes. So it had basically the story set up is that they're at the Abaddon Motel. They are putting in a haunt. They're basically something terrible had happened, and we learn that in the very opening scene of the film that these kids going through the haunt are all evacuating. There's something going on. It's all shaky. It goes black, and then we learn through a bunch of like news articles that the Abaddon Motel, a tragedy happened there, and essentially they have all the answers they need on these tapes. And then that's whenever Hell House LLC starts. And I thought just that opening 5 minutes really hooked me, and I wanted to watch more of it. I could not like recommend the style of filmmaking it was in was really clever because it was very you could tell it was like low budget, like it was done on the cheap, but they took
Yeah.
everything they possibly could to really make this an incredible spooky.
The the reason I compare it to the Blair Witch mainly is because they take the same approach as to what you don't see scares you. Because there's literally, I mean, I don't want to ruin anything, but there's not much that you really see happen in the movie. But it's the buildup of everything, the anticipation of what you could see, what's going to happen. That's what the scary part is. And even if you see something for a split second, it sticks with you because of all the buildup it had for it. And like the Blair Witch Project, like the main buildup is to see the witch. You never see the witch, but you always remember thinking that movie that you saw it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I have you seen the other two? There's like two more.
Yeah, I had to. As soon as I watched that one, it was like 2 and 3.
I didn't
They
want to.
get progressively worse with each one. They're not bad, but as a whole series, I really enjoyed all three of them as a series. But the first one, I mean, I put that really high up on my list. It's making its way to one of my favorite found footage movies.
Oh yeah, I think that 2 and 3 was definitely unneeded. I think they were just continuing it on because they could. I just wish. I think that if you just watch it as Hell House LLC, it works just fine as a standalone. The entire narrative's tied up at the end. We get just enough information that we need, and I have to say, I 100% recommend it as well. I really thought it was creepy. The scene. I'm not even gonna like go into too much specifics because I don't think it's like really well known of a film. I don't think that everybody's seen it yet. So I don't want to spoil it if somebody goes out and watches it. But the clown, that one
Yeah,
clown,
yes, yes.
every
That I mean,
single time.
I have no fear of clowns whatsoever, but just the look of it, it's fucking creepy. It's scary.
And
Like I guarantee you, if that was in my house right now, I would shit myself.
Chris, behind you. Okay.
Don't even know. So that's how scary this movie is. Like, and I feel stupid saying it's scary. Like, I'm almost embarrassed to tell people that the movie scared me because, like, I'm a horror fan. Stuff doesn't scare me, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird to actually be scared of something that I've seen from a movie, and that fucking did it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm right there with you because I think it's like one of those movies you have to watch at night as well. There's something about watching the
Yeah,
film at night. It puts me in the mind of what's the movie called House is October Built. It has a lot of similarities to tone, to like what
yeah. I didn't really care for that one much.
I think that the reason is that Hellhouse LLC does it much better. They do everything much better. The scares are better, and the ending, the payoff is exactly what we would hope. Um,
Mhm.
and I mean, the thing is it's not the payoff at the end makes it worth it because the entire film, every 2 minutes, there's something to keep coming back for. So it's not poorly paced at all. The acting is convincing, the story's convincing, the scares are convincing. So at the end of it, you really don't have a film that you're just waiting for this horror payoff. Because in a lot of horror movies, you have to wait for the build up and the build up and the build up, and then you get the payoff at the end, right? So in this film, I think the reason that it's just so scary and spooky is because all the way through, even watching the news footage, I felt weirded out. There's something about it that's just very unsettling. And they talk about the tragedy of the Abaddon. They go in there, they just designing the sets, the setting itself. I think everything about it just kind of screams convincement.
So I looked into this film, and I found out that that hotel, the Abaddon Hotel,
Mhm.
is an actual building in Pennsylvania. I think it's like Leeton, Pennsylvania, something like that. And they actually have a haunted house there. That it's a real haunted house you can go through for the
No.
attraction. I Yes, exactly. Like my thought exactly. If I'm so scared of an actual movie, going to a location where it was filmed at and seeing the exact same thing that terrified me from the movie in that place, like that, I don't know. I really want to do that. I want to go there and I want to see it for myself. And who knows, like that would be the setup for like the part four. Like we would be in the movie part four.
Oh my god, yes. We just filmed the whole thing. You know, it would be even creepier if they kept the same exact set as they did in the film.
I think it is. I think it is the exact same set. I think they have a tour guide that takes you through the actual set of the where the movie was filmed. It's the with the clowns and everything. It's
I'm not going in the basement. There's no way. I'm not going in that basement. The clowns
if anybody is listening, if you have not seen Hell House LLC, it's streaming on Shudder. It's streaming on Tubi for free. I highly recommend it. That be your next movie to watch. Drop every movie you have and watch that movie. I think you'll thank us for this because you said that you didn't. You were it was a little bit boring. You thought, but I was into it the entire time. I think it's really well done. I highly recommend every second of that movie.
I think it's a perfect movie as well for October. Like if you're watching it sometime while if you're like going out to do haunts, if you're really into haunted attractions and you're out and you're like watching horror movies all October long, I definitely would recommend hitting up a bunch of haunted houses, getting like a group of friends together and watching it. That'd be so fun. But like speaking of
Yeah.
like going to like trips, going out and doing things, I did recently actually for the first time ever go to Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh obviously being the home of Tom Savini, George Romero was there, like lived there, did a lot of work. I didn't see Tom Savini. I was looking for him, but it was kind of funny because outside of our hotel that we booked,
You weren't the one that hit him on the bicycle, were you?
right. But that's a weird thing because I actually talked to a local there too. I want to say I talked to this local guy and he was like, "Yeah," he was like, he owned a shop there on like a strip.
Yeah, I did it.
He was like, I saw Tom Savini riding his bicycle like by the shop, and I think it was like right on that day. He was like talking about it, and he was because he mentioned that, and he was just like, I see him riding up here all the time on his bicycle. He's always around the town. And I was like, wow, okay, did you see, were you the guy? Were you the guy that got him? But whenever we were staying at our hotel, I had no idea where we were staying. But we just pull up, and in the corner, there's like a bunch of trees. So I didn't really see anything. And the valet driver pulls up, and I'm like, giving him the keys, taking the slip or whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, check-in's over here. Let's go inside. And like, we just start walking. And out of the corner of my eye, I see like a Jason mask. And I'm like, what is going on? Where are we at? What is this? So I look around the tree and I see a gigantic, like 40-foot wide, but like 25-foot tall mural of Tom Savini holding a Jason Voorhees mask. So I start freaking out because I've never seen a giant ass mural in the middle of a city with a horror icon, like, designer on there, that does special effects and stuff in Pittsburgh. So I was freaking out. And then I look over at my girlfriend Felicia, and I'm like, "There's the Friday the 13th," and then I'm like freaking out. And she's like, "Why are you so exciting over a bowling ball?" And she had thought that the Jason Voorhees mask was a bowling ball, and it was a guy holding a bowling ball. And I was panicking, freaking out over there, taking pictures of it. And she like eventually comes over and she's like, "Oh, I see." And she's like, "Come on, I didn't know that. I didn't know I was booking it until next to Tom Savini." So it was like really cool. The entire experience of being there was like just great to know that he was somewhere I was looking for him, but I didn't see him.
Yeah,
But
you messaged me with that picture of that mural, and like my reply back was like, "Are you there with? Is he with you right now?" Like,
only if I could have got him to take a picture of that mural, it would have been just that. I don't know what I. The thing is I've always heard like things about Tom Savini. I think we all have. So I don't know how he would be to meet him. I've never met him for that reason. I know I'm a bad horror fan for not meeting him yet, because he's at like every convention almost known to man, and I always pass. But I think that if I saw him going down the road, I would have to stop him and just like thank him because he really has had like such a career spanning, and I feel like he would be cool in his natural. I know a lot of the locals there had seen Tom Savini, and they say he's a nice guy. He's always like cool to go around and just talk to around public, and he always he always like talks back, and he doesn't like give anybody issues.